Hey guys, it's Eric from Huge Drum Center here, and we got Aubrey and Andy as well.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about the new Roland VQD106 kit, which just came out, a couple weeks ago?
Yeah.
And so we've set it up, unboxed it, played on it for about a week like we usually do, and we're going to give our first impressions on it. So what this kit is a much quieter version of, like, say, a TD-07 KV2 or something like that.
Right.
And it seems to do that job pretty well. We measured on a decibel meter on our phone, and it was about 20 decibels quieter than, say, a TD-17 kit or a TD-27 kit from Roland. So it's got all new pads, new cymbals, and a new rack that were all designed for this kit. If you get it with the module, it comes with the TD-07, which has been out for quite a while. And you can also get it without a module if you already have a TD-17 or you just want to buy it with a TD-17 or a 27 and that kind of thing. So one other thing I'll mention is the TD-17, 27, 50, and 50X all have recent updates as of October this month,
Right.
which include these new pad types. And the reason why I bring that up is we tried it on the TD-27 module without that update. Played very bad.
Yeah,
Did
it
not
was
trigger
not
well
a good
at all.
experience.
So once we did the update, it triggers great.
Right. Yeah, so it's very important if you do get this kit and you have not the 07 module that comes with it, if you get it without it, make sure you get that firmware update so you have the pad types.
It's free download. You can get it off Roland's website. It's super easy. Barely any inconvenience.
Yeah.
Before we jump into like what our thoughts are, I also want to bring up a couple things about the volume of the kit, since this is such an important selling point. We have right on the back side of our video room is a neighbor, and it's a pretty thin wall because we can hear them talking through this wall. And we went over there and asked, like, hey, we're going to play this kit for a while. Give us an opinion on what you think the volume, would you live next to this? Is this something you could deal with? Is it too loud or whatever? And she was like, well, I definitely heard you guys a lot less this week than I did previous weeks. And I'm like, yeah, that's because we had the VQD106 kit, which is a much louder kit.
Oh, yeah.
They're not trying to be quiet on that kit necessarily. Obviously, it's not an acoustic kit, but it's way louder than this kit. Mm-hmm. And so her verdict is that, if she was at her house, like with any kind of like TV on or people talking, she wouldn't even noticed it.
Right.
At all. Right. So that's pretty good. That's kind of what you're looking for with this thing. Mm-hmm. It's if you're in an apartment and you've got neighbors that would complain.
Been there.
Everybody's been there. Yeah, and we'll talk about that here in a bit. It seems like a home run.
The quiet factor of it is pretty crazy. I was kind of almost let down at first with how quiet it was, just because I felt like Roland was hyping it as almost like negative quiet. Like they were making it sound like you wouldn't even be able to hear it at all. And it's like, well, you're still hitting something. You can still hear something. So, but still seeing it and hearing it played and playing on it, it's insane how quiet it is. It almost feels weird to play because you don't have any of the like sound bleeding through the headphones at all from the pads. But the thing I've noticed the most is because like at our shop, like my office is in the back, and like when Justin was here trying out the VQD kit, he had the door closed and I'm in the back and I could still hear every bit of what he was playing. But then like when you guys have been up there playing on the kit, I don't even know you're playing on it till I walk up there and I'm like, oh, they're playing on this kit. Like I can't hear it at all.
When I walked in this morning, you were playing on it and I didn't hear it until I was like right walking past the door. I was like, right. Oh, he's playing on that kit.
Yeah. So the amount of quiet it is insane. And putting that new firmware on the module definitely made it a good playing experience too. Because at first my idea of how good it was I was like, oh, is this sacrificing triggering for quiet? But then updating the module, I was like, oh no, everything's still there. It still works great. The one thing that I think we all noticed though is the toms and the snare and the kick drum are all super quiet, and so are the cymbals. But the cymbals edge sensor, if you hit it, it's not the same quiet material. It's just like a more quiet rubber. So it does get louder if you're like hitting the edge.
That's the loudest part of the kit. Yeah.
It's not bad though.
It's still not bad, but it's
a softer rubber.
Yeah. Like if I ever do hear y'all playing it up there, that's when I notice it, because y'all be crashing and I'm like, oh, they're playing that kit, but it's still super quiet compared to anything else out there.
And there, if you hit your cymbals on the mesh part, which, you know, when you're practicing, it's not ideal to not hit the cymbal like you would a regular cymbal. But if you're just absolutely trying to be quiet, you could get that practice session in just by hitting that.
Yeah, and the pads feel good to play. I actually like the way they feel. It took a second to get used to because it doesn't feel like a mesh head by any means.
No, because it's got that rubber kind of silicone underneath.
Yeah.
The honeycomb looking stuff.
Yeah.
Which gives the mesh some more rigidity.
Yeah. But overall,
nice little bounce too.
Yeah.
Overall, like what Roland was going for, I think they've done it. Like it's definitely the quietest E-kit I've ever seen or played on. So if you're someone in an apartment, this like to me seems like a home run. You know, it comes with the two risers as well for like the hi-hat pedal and the
noise eater
things.
Plates for that. And the rack has built-in noise eater technology as well as the kick drum triggers.
Yeah, we were looking at the rack earlier and it was kind of weird because it looks like it's not sitting level, but what it is the legs have almost like a squishy basketball kind of like thing on the bottom of them that makes it to where they're raised up. So
the whole thing is kind of floating around.
I was about to say you might want to describe what noise eater means. But yeah, these big rubber pieces that everything sits on.
Yeah.
That's what got me in trouble years ago at an apartment. I had just gotten my, what is it? The
TD6.
The TD6. I still have that thing. And I waited a while to get it, went to pick it up, really excited, finally get to practice because I live in an apartment. Within an hour, I get a call from the front office saying that I'm being too loud, my neighbor's freaking out. So that was that. With these, I feel I could get away with it because of the little platforms. It was really the kick drum and hitting the kick drum, I guess all that vibration hitting the floor, and with the quote unquote noise eater things.
Yeah. I could actually see people like just buying that kick drum by itself because it is so quiet.
Now I will say that it took me a second to get used to because it comes with a really really small
it's a tennis ball beater.
Yeah, it's a tennis ball beater, and it's hitting this pad, which is also quiet.
So that came with the kit.
Yeah,
I did not realize that.
Okay, so when I'm playing that thing without headphones, it was weird because it's so light and the impact was like, ugh, you know. But once I put headphones on and I could hear the sound it was making with my foot, I adjusted really quick. So my first impression of the kick drum alone was I was like, I don't know if I like this or not. But then once I put headphones on and listened to the sounds, I forgot, you know. So, but I will say that it felt very light. The construction and everything, though, I just went in there and hit everything pretty hard and shredded for about 30 minutes, you know, and nothing moved. It's pretty solid. I think it's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah. It's cool technology for sure.
Yeah, I'm into it. I like it.
So about that technology, like one of the things I thought when we saw it in person, started playing, I was like, they should put this in everything. You know, if one of the points of electronic drums in general is to be quieter.
Word.
And why not? You spent the R&D money. You got this new stuff you can put in your electronic drums. Why not like put that in some other kits? Like
they probably will. Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna. It feels about the same. I mean, honestly, on the batter heads, you know, on the snare and toms, like I said, the kick felt a little different. Mm-hmm. But if you can hear it, that goes away.
They would have a hard time having it just in the pads because those would be uber quiet, but then the rest of the cymbals would not be. Right. Because unless you have that technology in bigger cymbals. But
now, one thing is, if you're going to do double kick, it looks like the actual bass drum would accommodate that. However, you would have to buy another platform for your left, or is that?
Yeah, you would.
Can that be purchased separately? Or
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's one thing to consider. You'd also have to get another one of those tennis ball beaters to go with your double kick.
That's true.
Also, is there a bell sound?
No,
No bell sound. So
that's a drawback.
Yeah. It's not. It's also, if you're using this for practice, it's not a deal breaker.
No,
Like
and the reason why they said they didn't do that is because on any given kit, smacking that bell is pretty much one of the loudest things on your kit.
Yeah.
And so they just kind of made a call. It was like, we're just not going to include it in this one.
Well, no, on mine at home, it's if I just hit it like a little harder on the same on the same pad, it'll just trigger the bell sound.
Some modules will do that.
I wasn't getting that.
That might be something that could be done on one of the other modules. It may even be possible on the 07, but we haven't tried that or tested or anything.
Still not a deal
No,
breaker.
I actually did try that when we had it plugged up because I remembered he had said that before in the past, and I was like hitting it, and I was hitting it harder, trying to see if it would do anything like that, and it didn't do anything.
But you didn't make any settings changes or anything.
I didn't make any settings changes, no, but I did try to see if that would just work from with having the settings set basic.
Okay.
Well, the reason I don't think it's a deal breaker for me is because I don't look at this kit as something I'm going to be playing live or even in a church. This to me just seems like a really good practice tool.
Sure.
I think this is great for your apartment. This is great for your kid, even if you're living in a house that just doesn't want to hear it. It's like, because I've got a lot of students that tell me that they're driving their older sister and insane, or something like that. And you can get this kit for them, for the student,
Right.
that's just doing basic stuff anyway.
Yeah, we've only had one customer play on the kit, maybe a couple, but it was some parents buying. They were looking at a kit for their teenage son who had been playing a couple years.
Mm-hmm.
And he's coming from like just a Uber, kind of super inexpensive starter kit that isn't very good. And was more looking at, maybe a 27 kV2 or, a little bit more. I think his favorite was a VQD507 just because of the sizes. And he played on that kit and the parents loved it because they could barely hear it.
Right.
He did not like it as much as a VQD507, which you shouldn't. I mean, it's not as cool of a drum kit, but
No.
if you're just trying to be like this, he's 12, he doesn't care about noise, but people in an apartment, in their own apartment, obviously will and are
Right.
trying to be quiet and not get kicked out of their apartment or get people yelling at them all the time.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I was hitting it pretty hard in there a little while ago. I was getting into it, and like I said, the construction is great. And does it make a sound? Yeah, it's not. It's like you said, it's not negative, quiet. But if I'm in there playing and two other people are in there having a conversation, they can hear each other.
Yeah, I barely even heard you playing on it earlier. You were like 30 feet away.
Yeah.
You're hitting your sticks together is the loudest thing on the
Yeah.
The model with the TD07 module is $17.99. The one without is $15.99. You think that's pretty good for prices?
I think so.
Yeah.
I
I think so.
Like according to Roland, it's just they spent a lot of R&D money on these quieting these down.
I can
So
see that.
Otherwise, it on the face of it, it looks like this looks like maybe a cheap kit, but
It's built well.
It's built well. It's a Roland.
It's a Roland. Yeah, they don't break. Well, I mean, I'm not saying that they don't, but they work.
And
Let's
it's
just say that.
significantly quieter than any other electronic kit I've ever heard, and I've been selling them for 30 years.
Yeah.
It's by far quieter.
Right.
Easily.
Yeah. So everything's just pretty cool. You can buy it like I said, you can buy it with the 07. If you want to get it without the module, we sell TD17s, 27s. It'll work with all those, and you can package it with that. Hit us up if you have any questions, and subscribe for more. We'll talk to you guys next time, and have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.